up, YouTube? It is Angelo coming at you from Fear the Beard Football Channel. The biggest nose in sport is here to break down his week one matchups for you guys and tell you who I've got coming up for this week. Gonna probably have a little bit of different predictions than what I had for my official predictions for the seasons, just because this is a new NFL than what it was when I started my prediction series. So I'm going to dive right into the matchups. We've got the Jets and the Bills going up against each other at 1 o'clock today. I think the Bills are going to win convincingly. They're just an overall better team. I'd like Sam Darnold better as a quarterback, but everything else I like about, the Bills. Their defense is better. Their run game to me is better because Adam Gase just doesn't use Le'Veon Bell properly. The offensive line is better. I think I might have already said that, but their defense is just, to me, they're at their best. They're the best defense in the NFL. I don't think you can really argue with that. This is a very great unit. Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane know what they're doing out there. So this team, to me, is going to win fairly convincingly. I'm going to go 27-17 Buffalo. Second game we've got slotted in is the Packers and the Vikings. I know originally I had the Vikings winning this game, but this is a completely different team than when I did my prediction series. Sorry, guys. I always have a little bit of a runny nose first thing in the morning. But yeah, this is a different Vikings team than when I did my prediction series. And the Packers, they're returning almost everybody from last year. So, with the weird offseason we've had, with the Packers remaining almost very similar to what they were from a year ago, I'm going to go with the Packers in this one. And I'll go 31-23 Green Bay. I think it's going to be a little bit closer just because I like Mike Zimmer as a head coach. They still have Dalvin Cook and Kirk Cousins. So, they return two key pieces, and then they still have Adam Thielen, and that defense is still fairly good. So I don't think the Vikings are going to have that much of regression from what I had them at, but this is a little bit different of a team. I just got to see what the new pieces are going to do. Moving on to a little bit easier of a game to predict is the Eagles and the Washington football team. Sorry, Washington fans, but there's no chance you guys are winning this game. That offensive line is abysmal. Dwayne Haskins, is he the guy? I don't know. Like I said, I think Alex Smith gives you a better chance to win, but I don't think you're trying to win, so maybe Dwayne Haskins is the right call for you guys. But 31-6 Philadelphia. Right here is a game that, in my opinion, is going to be a little bit tougher than you guys think. The Browns and the Ravens, that's going to be a tough game. First of all, Kevin Stefanski is a massive upgrade from Freddie Kitchens. I like a lot of the things that Baker Mayfield has said this past offseason, saying that, he needs to do better himself. I always like it when a quarterback comes out and says the right things, because that at least shows growth. Like, that was one of my things with Cam Newton early in his career. I didn't like the things he said, but then he kind of fixed it up, or after, around his third year, he started to become a little bit more of a team leader, so to speak. And, that's what I like to see. So, but I'm going to take the Ravens in this one. This is a team, obviously, when you look at their schedule, they do have a chance to go 16-0. They don't have a super tough schedule, and this is just a powerhouse team. The Browns are going to give them a bit of fits, but like I said, I've got Baltimore winning, and I think it's going to be, if I had to put a guess on it, I would say 28-20, something like that. I feel like that's a very good score to put this game at. Now we're going to be talking about the Colts and the Jaguars. This doesn't really need a whole lot of time. I think the Colts are going to just cruise to victory. This is going to be a blowout game. I'm going to go 38-7 Indianapolis. And I'm going to watch this game because I'm going to be very interested to see how Gardner Minshew plays, just because, if he's playing properly and making the right decisions and making the right reads, and he's, there's certain things you can watch for in a quarterback from a team that is tanking. You just got to look at his decision making and see how he conducts himself. Now, if they wind up with the worst record and they don't trade that pick, then no matter what he does, Trevor Lawrence is going to be the guy they take. But, if not, if they somehow wind up with the second overall pick and Gardner Minshew looks like he's making some good decisions, this team might have already found their quarterback. We just don't know. We've got to see how Gardner Minshew plays this year. But like I said, it's not going to be pretty for Jacksonville this year. So, Jacksonville fans, you guys are in for a long campaign. All right. Now we're going to be moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders and my Carolina Panthers. We know that I need to see a little bit from Carolina because there's so many moving pieces. This team can be one of two things. I I like Teddy Bridgewater as a quarterback. I think we upgraded on that position. A lot of Panthers fans, you know, are we're very split on the Cam Teddy debate. But like I said, Teddy Bridgewater is a way more efficient quarterback. He's got a career completion percentage of 65%. Me personally, I'll take efficient over flashy any day. I like that style of quarterback play. I like what Teddy Bridgewater brings to the table. I just got to see what our defense does. You know, we've had so many like moving pieces this offseason, and with the influx of young guys and rookies, I'm just very interested to see what we're going to do. But I'm going to take the Raiders in this one, and I think it's going to be a bit closer. And I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, really. So I'm going to go 2017 Las Vegas. Moving on to the Bears and the Lions. They've got Mitchell Trubisky starting week 1, but apparently, like I was saying, that he's going to have a short leash. They've got Nick Foles slotted in to start that second game. So that's a very short leash. They haven't really determined who's going to be the starter. So I guess they're going to go with the approach as this is going to be a quarterback battle, kind of like what they would have done in the preseason. But since they weren't given a preseason, they're going to do that quarterback battle in the early season. I don't think that's wise. We all know the old adage, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you really have no quarterbacks. But this is going to be a defense that's going to be playing lights out in the beginning of the season because they're at this point playing for something. Later on down the road, if they're continuing to struggle, it's going to be the same thing last year. This defense is almost going to give up on them. But I'm really hoping that, having Nick Foles behind Trubisky is going to push him to evolve as a quarterback. Do I see it? No, I don't. I didn't like the fact that they went on ahead and drafted him number 2 overall. And I'm a Tar Heel fan, okay? So, I live right close to the University of North Carolina. I love that team. And I loved what he did for our team. You know, he took us 10-2. We went to a bowl game. All that. Trubisky was a solid college quarterback. And, but in the NFL, he just can't cut it. You know, I don't like his confidence. I don't know. I think eventually Nick Foles is going to take over. But I'm going to take the Lions in this game. I'm sorry for that kind of like weird long pause. It was just really, I was fumbling around with this for a second. But I'm going to take Detroit. Like I said, I like how this team has kind of come together. This is my surprise team for this year, actually, just because, my one drawback with this organization was that I don't think Patricia had control of the locker room. And then with all the recent things that's been going on, that picture of them locking arms, and I feel like that locker room has become a little bit more unified. They've got some ballers on their team. Matt Stafford was on course to throw for almost 40 touchdowns and also 5,000 passing yards. So he can still ball out. He's a good quarterback. And I'm going to take the Lions in this one. I'm going to go with the upset in week 1. Now we're going to get into Seattle and Atlanta. We all know I'm going to choose Seattle in this game. They're going to be a run-heavy team. That is the Seattle Seahawks MO. They run the ball. I don't know why when you have a future Hall of Fame quarterback, and to me, like Pat Mahomes right now, ability-wise, is the best player in the league, or the best quarterback in the league. But I'm telling you, Russell Wilson's a close second. This man is hyper-efficient. He's a very smart quarterback. Nobody can read. To me, nobody reads defenses like him. He's on that level, that Drew Brees level of reading defenses. And his awareness is just, his pocket awareness is just unmatched. I love this guy. He's the most underrated quarterback in the NFL right now. But I'm going to take Seattle convincingly in this game. I think it's going to be 28-16 Seattle. Moving on to the Dolphins and the Patriots. There's so many different things going on. Like last year, New England's strength was defense because their offensive line was just awful. You could see Tom Brady was, noticeably struggling behind that offensive unit. And they lost a lot of pieces on defense. They didn't make any additions on the offensive line. They don't have any new running backs. And I'm not a big fan outside of what James White does. I don't like this running back group. And we don't even know what James White is going to be post Tom Brady. Is he going to be just as relevant with Cam Newton? I know that he was checking down to Christian McCaffrey in Carolina a lot. But is that same success going to continue in New England? So these are kind of questions. There's so many questions with New England. And I also like what Miami's been doing. I love what they did in the draft. I love what they did in the offseason. This is a very different team. And then we know, Fitzmagic is just going to sling that rock because he's at the end of his career. He doesn't care. He's touchdown or bust for him, man. One way or another, he's going to be slinging that rock. I'm going to take Miami in this one. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I'm going to go. I'm going to go probably 14-21. I think it's going to be a touchdown with this game, and the Dolphins are going to win Week 1. So now we're moving into the 4 o'clock games. I've got the Chargers and the Bengals. This is a little tough because the Bengals do bring in a lot of different pieces on defense. Like I've said, DJ Reader, Trey Waynes, Von Bell. Those are upgrades from what they had last year. Jonah Williams is coming back. I feel like that's going to help Joe Mixon run a lot better. AJ Green comes back, and Joe Burrow, he's a type of guy, he's going to go vertical with AJ Green. AJ Green could be very dangerous if he stays healthy, just because Joe Burrow is going to go vertical a lot more than what Andy Dalton was doing. Just because, first of all, he's a rookie, he doesn't have a full grasp of the playbook. So what are you going to do? You're going to go deep to your biggest threat, and if AJ Green is healthy, he could still go up and get it. This guy's the same age as Julio Jones. They came out of the draft together. So if Julio Jones is still balling, I understand that, AJ Green has had a few more injuries than him, but this man could still ball. Cincinnati is actually a dark horse this year. If Joe Burrow ends up, if they hit on Joe Burrow, and I mean hit in the first year, this is a team that could potentially I'm not going to say that they could make it to the playoffs this year because they don't have the capability of doing that. But this is a team that could mess around and play spoiler against some teams and even kind of be in the conversation for the playoffs later in the year. I don't think they're going to get in, but they have the potential to knock on the door. But I'm going to take the Bengals in this one, so I'm going to take the upset, and I feel like Smoking Joe Burrow is going to get a victory in his first game. I'm going to go 27-24. I feel like the run game is going to be he's going to keep San Diego in this one. But like I said, I think Cincinnati is going to squeak out a win here and get a, early Week 1 victory. Moving on to San Francisco and Arizona. This is the 4:25 game. We know I'm going to choose San Francisco, but I don't think that Arizona is going to be far behind. I like a lot of what they did. Obviously going on ahead and getting DeAndre Hopkins for nothing, really. But you know what? David Johnson did have a good game against Houston, so I really can't even hate on him because he did have probably his best game in quite a while. So, but still, David Johnson's an aging running back. You've got a young receiver in Hopkins. It doesn't add up, and Deshaun Watson just looked lost without DeAndre Hopkins. I feel so bad for him out over there in Houston because, and what I don't get is he just signed an extension, and you could see that this team is doing absolutely nothing to help you. I don't understand why quarterbacks just don't up and move to a different team. There's not much parity in the NFL, or there's not much. You don't see people move around. Like in the NBA, you see players move around constantly. And I'm not saying that I think that the NFL should be more like the NBA, but if I'm Deshaun Watson, why am I going to sit there and take all this money to play for a team that's not even trying to win? I mean, they've gone out and traded your guy, basically. In football, you find a way to make things work. So when you have one of the best receivers in the NFL and one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, you don't just give that up. I mean, because after that trade, the Texans became noticeably worse than what they were. They actually had a shot to win a Super Bowl with DeAndre Hopkins on the team. Now, I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs. I'm sorry that I went into a different team on this one, but I don't know, man. That really irritates me a little bit. But I'm going to go with the 49ers in this one. I'm going to go 31-24 in this game. I think Arizona's going to put up some points and keep it close, but that defense isn't good enough to stop this team. Like I said, if the 49ers had 148 rushing yards last year without contact against the Green Bay Packers, and that's a much better defense out there in Green Bay than what they have in Arizona. And I just feel like this team is going to run all over them. And at the very end, they're going to make more key defensive stops than what Arizona can put up. So I'm going to roll with the 49ers. And then we've got the Buccaneers playing the Saints. a lot of people are going with the upset with Tom Brady and saying that Tampa Bay is going to win. But guys, like, the Saints organization is just such a well-oiled machine. They finally put that Alvin Kamara mess to bed by giving him that 5-year extension. So I was really happy about that, because ever since this man's been on the Saints, Drew Brees has become way more efficient. He's not putting up the same numbers that he was putting up, but he became more of an efficient quarterback ever since they were able to get someone like Alvin Kamara, who is the biggest home run threat in the NFL. Alvin Kamara is hands down the biggest home run threat. The man at any point in time can bust off a long touchdown run or catch a pass in the backfield and shoot it out for another long touchdown. You know, so I love this team. I love everything they do, down to how they draft, what they put on with their defense. Their offense is amazing. And this team is just like, you know, it's like a businessman just, you know, waking up in the morning and having his morning coffee and breakfast and taking that briefcase and heading on and putting in an honest day's work. That's what the New Orleans Saints remind me of. And they're going to win this game. It's going to be close. Tom Brady is going to keep them in there. Tampa Bay does have a solid defense. And this is going to be, to me, this is going to be a bit of a grudge match, I think. But I'm going to go 28-24 New Orleans. I feel like we're going to get a shootout at the end. I feel like it's going to be a close game for the first 3 quarters, and then in the final quarter, it's going to turn into a shootout. That's where I'm going with that one. All right, guys. Last game that I have is going to be the Sunday Night Football matchup. Like I said, I'm saving the Monday Night Football games for tomorrow when I break down the Sunday games and do my predictions with Bradley. The Cowboys and the Rams. Rams are opening up their new stadium. Cowboys have Mike McCarthy as their new head coach. We know where I'm at with the Rams. I don't really like a whole lot on this team. I've got to see how that run game develops, because that's going to be a huge, huge deal for them. If they can get a solid run game, this is going to be a more competitive bunch. But if that run game does not show up, the Rams are in for a long season. But I'm going to take the Cowboys in this one. They're going to control the clock. And this is not going to be a high-scoring game. And it's mainly because the Cowboys, in my opinion, are just going to run the ball down their throats. And especially with what we saw with the Kansas City game, I think we're going to see more of that, where it's hard to tackle. So expect Ezekiel Elliott to have a really, really good game. I'm going to say that Ezekiel Elliott rushes for over 150 yards in this game. I know that's a high number, but with the lack of preparation that they've been able to, you know, the NFL teams have had this offseason, I don't think that that's like really hard to say. I'm going to say he runs for $150 and gets 2 rushing touchdowns. I think he's going to have a really good game. I think the Cowboys are going to win this game 21-16. I've got that. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to save the Monday Night Football games for tomorrow. That's going to wrap up my video tonight, guys. And I really just want to say this real quick. You know, I appreciate the, you know, high views from, which, I mean, you know, 40 for me is pretty high on views, but my last video got 40 views, and I noticed that I actually got more subscribers watching that last video that I put out than people who are unsubscribed. So, you know, I want to say, guys, thank you for doing that. You guys are really awesome. I love all my subscribers. We just hit 50 yesterday, so I'm going to be doing my $50 Cash App. Got to get all the names of the people that have subscribed. I've been doing that, keeping it in a hat, and I'm going to do like a little drawing of the names, and then I'm going to reveal who the winner is going to be, and then I'm going to do my $50 Cash App. So, you know, I can't wait to have you guys here for that. Thank you so much for being a part of this channel. I know we're small right now, but I can't wait for the future. So, you know, down the road, I can be in some type of studio giving you guys, like, you know, my own live 30-minute show or something like that. Signing off today. I got to get ready for work, guys, but, you know, I had so much fun making this video. There's my remote behind my coffee. I had so much fun making this video, and I hope you guys get to enjoy NFL Sunday for week 1. Y'all have a great day. Stay Rona free.